Aliens 3 Ahoy! Let's talk about episode 9, season 1 of Strange New Worlds, All Those Who Wander, which is the horror episode of Star Trek. Second appearance, well, spoilers alert. Well, they, a select crew of the Enterprise has to go down to a planet to rescue this other fellow Starfleet ship that has gone down and is out of communicator contact, and but the rest of the Enterprise has to go on and deliver this very time-sensitive batteries, which would run down or evaporate or something before they did. So Pike decides to take his selected crew, Spock, Uhura, and another cadet who are both finishing their training, and a newly promoted ensign going to lieutenant who we've never seen before. And you think, oh, that's not going well for him. It's what I thought as we go into the thing. The doctor, Hemmer, and Nurse Chapel. They go down and they find that everyone's dead. And they are in a spooky ice world. Very gothic. Very, very haunted house. Very, very much a haunted house. And it turns out, indeed, there is Monsters Ahoy, along with a couple of survivors, a girl, an alien, and they find out what's happened. So yeah, that's the setup for this very distressing episode of Strange New Worlds. They've done kind of comedy in the last episode, done kind of romance. This is definitely the horror episode where not everybody is going to get out alive. Oh, Sam Kirk is there as well as the slightly freaked out, yelling at people thing. Indeed, he calls Spock pointy-eared to let you know that, oh yes, when Bones comes along, he'll have had the groundwork laid for racist Vulcan name calling. So there's that. So that's the setup. I enjoyed the episode. I think it had one or two clangers in it, but for the most part, I quite enjoyed. This was a very effective horror episode. So let's go into spoilers. So yes, they find out that what's happened is that an Orion that was with the other two, a human girl and another unknown alien, was infected with Gorn eggs. The Gorn eggs hatched and have killed. There was like 99 crew members. They are all dead, either frozen to death, ripped apart, didn't make it, and they all were outside. And it turns out that the Gorn have a aversion to cold, and that is why they I guess were driven out. They were driven out of the ship. And what ensues is a bug hunt, and a bug hunt on this kind of enclosed thing where they are driving the Gorn that hatch, very bursting out of the unknown alien's skin, and are running around. Hemmer gets slimed at one point by the venom that burns and apparently is supposed to blind the victim. There's a little girl, very newt-like, who has survived and knows to hide in the coldest part of the ship to avoid the Gorn. And this really triggers... that's the other crew member who is aboard, is Noonien, not Noonien Sung, but Sung, their chief of security, who had survived as a child on a Gorn kind of prison planet, a breeding planet, where I guess people were slimed and Gorn hatchlings would erupt out of them. And she starts yelling at the kid because it's like, you know stuff, and kind of you can tell that she's got her own issues with her own survivor guilt and is maybe taking it out on the girl. One of the definite big clangor of the thing is the doctor jumps in to protect the girl and says, "Stop talking to my daughter that way," which seems like the most ham-fisted line in the thing of, yes, we know that in the last episode he lost his daughter, or his daughter had to go on to this nebula higher entity being thing, and left to pursue her own happy adult life, which we get to see lived out in like about after 5 seconds after she left. But it's a really clunky line. It's one of those things where you wish that both sides of that were kind of played more for subtext and a slow burn. But I guess they just wanted to get things clear out there. But it really feels like it's like the writer grabbing you and trying to shake you and say, no, this is what this is. You should know it right now, and I'm going to tell you because you're too dumb to figure it out yourself or to think about it later and slowly pick up on it, which would be the delight of something that was well written. Instead, they just say, no, stop talking to my daughter like that. I really dislike that line. That really kicked me out of it. But we get back into it. We get a lot of chasing down halls and shutting doorways, very a la Alien 3. Oh, after the Gorn hatchlings burst out of this unknown alien that was with the little girl. And that is really horrifying in very much aliens kind of way of hatching the things. They pretty quickly, it's an hour show and they've had all this set up, so they pretty quickly are able to kind of bring all the Gorn over until there's just the two of them. The two Gorn fight, and now there's just the one. They are managed to herd and lure it into the shuttle bay, where Spock has to unlock his Fury to kind of get it to go there, and he can't. And we find at the end of the episode he hasn't able to lock it back in, and he and Christine have a moment of huggy times, which we're definitely going to go for high sexual tension between the two of them with their faces so close to each other but not kissing. But it's kind of a mutual thing. I mean, it's much more on her side than it is on his. His is more about, I'm just dealing with these issues, but maybe other stuff as well. But yeah, they drive them into the shuttle bay, where yes, Sung is lures it in. It's trying to get into the box that she's in with a translucent top, bashing. At which point Hemmer does do the thing where he freezes the Gorn, even saying, like, I won't kill it, but I will protect my crew, whatever the cost. And so he does freeze it. Unfortunately, and like, we got them all, hooray, and you're thinking, oh God, what's going to jump out? But what's going to jump out actually is Hemmer stumbling out and clutching his neck, because when he was slimed, that was him getting impregnated, I guess, with the more Gorn hatchlings, and he knows this, and so he goes to the open pod bay door of this ship, and steps out of the force field, feels the nice ice cold air, and throws himself off. Not before having a little speech to Uhura about how she needs to open herself up and let yourself love people, even though that will hurt. It will also, make you live, allow you to be all that you can be, all that sort of stuff. And so Hemmer dies. And it's funny because at the beginning of the episode, I'm thinking, it's like, oh, okay, well, they can kill that cadet, and they can kill Lieutenant Lord, you knew was dead the second he got that promotion, and he went on he was going to be on the away team. It was like, oh, you are so dead, dude. But I never ever considered they might actually kill Hemmer, who I guess served his function as a mentor to Uhura, and that push for her to kind of to bond with the Enterprise and to become a part of the crew. And that's it. That was it for him. At the end of the episode, Sung says, I have to find if I can find this girl's people, that's important. I'm going to take a leave of absence to do that, so I can be free to open to kind of like, get her, and obviously probably both she and the girl can work through more of their issues, because she's obviously not free from her issues of being horribly traumatized about being on a Gorn breeding planet. And the girl's definitely going to need help too, and maybe her own mentor. So, yeah, I'm quite shocked that they killed off Hemmer, because I was really enjoying him. I was thinking, wow, this actor. We were talking with Ja as we're watching the episode before he gets killed, and thinking, he's like, wow, he is a really good actor. Like he was great at just projecting himself through and all this kind of character and stuff. And you're thinking, oh, this is a main character of this series. It's like, no. This was a character that apparently was there to help Uhura through to her next stage. And they're going to need a new chief of engineering, maybe a Scottish one, or maybe they'll go through a couple of more engineers first. I think they actually do go through a couple more engineers before Scotty arrives in that position from the original series, I believe. I guess we'll find out. All right. That has been my thoughts on Star Trek Strange New Worlds Episode 9, Those Who Wander. And yeah, all right, I will leave it there. More videos later.